Happy Friday, happy Canada Day to my friends up north, and in preparation for those of you in the US who are going into 4th of July weekend. I wanted to take note of the plant, behind me right over there. Some of you have noted in my videos that I don't have a lot of greenery in the background. So I did go to the nursery and get my first plant. I think it may need a table or something like that to sit on, but it does look a little bit more alive, doesn't it? And I promise I will be bringing in more elements, more mood, more ambiance to warm up my office because it feels good that way, and I think it's a little bit more entertaining for you to watch. So my inspirational Friday thought for video that I wanted you to take into this long weekend, if you're here in the US, and just to think about for the rest of you where it's a regular weekend, is about claiming your authority. I have had many conversations recently with people who are starting a business or writing books or taking on new ventures, and I notice there is a marked difference in performance, in emotion, in progress, in success of folks who are willing to claim authority in whatever area that they're working on. I remember when I recently interviewed Stephen Pressfield, who is a wonderful author who wrote the book The War of Art, amongst other novels like The Legend of Bagger Vance. And for his new book, Do the Work, he talked about a turning point for him as a writer. He actually had I think it was about a 10-year period of being depressed and losing his whole family and blowing everything up and feeling like a failure and almost finishing a book and then scrapping the whole thing. And he had a moment that was very significant for him where he claimed authority and claimed the profession of being a writer. And he said, I chose to become a professional, and that was a total shift in the way that I approached my work, and it definitely had a total shift in how he was able to progress in his profession, ending up becoming a very successful writer, sold many of his screenplays, and things like that. The difference for him was telling himself that every day he was going to get up and write. He was going to be focused on excellence within the writing process. He definitely had skills as a writer, but it's more than that. By claiming authority, I don't mean that you pretend to have 35 years experience if you don't have 35 years experience, but you approach it as a professional. You learn, you grow. The same kind of conversation came out of my interview with Derek Sivers, who is the founder of CD Baby. And he talked about at the age of 14, claiming to be a musician and saying, I am a musician, I'm dedicated to the craft. It actually took a lot of years for him to get to a level where people recognized him as being talented. He said a lot of people told him for many years that he wasn't really a singer. So he practiced on his singing, and he rehearsed and was dedicated and committed to the life of being a musician. And on the way, he ended up also inadvertently creating a company that he sold for $22 million. So it doesn't always happen that way. I wish it did always happen with great success for selling your books and having screenplays or making millions of dollars in your startup company. But there's a difference. There is a difference in feeling for how it is that you approach your work. I talked with Lori Jordan today, who is the founder of Red Staple. I've worked with Lori for a while now. She came to my workshop in Atlanta. She came to Liftoff. And man, is she somebody that has claimed her authority and how she's operated her startup company. I was sitting back in my chair, so excited hearing about all the opportunities that were unfolding as she developed her startup. And I told her, the reason why many of these things are happening is because you're not sitting back wondering if you're a startup founder. You're acting like a startup founder. You're talking to investors. You're picking up the phone. You're setting up meetings. And she said very specifically that that is a focus that she has, where she is not going to be shy of getting in touch with people who she thinks can help her. She's not shy about reaching out to mentors. She's not shy about setting up meetings with companies. And she said she always has success. Sometimes that means people telling her no, but those that tell her no, she'll always try to find a way to move around it or to find some other kind of great opportunity. And so your attitude and your focus and your self-confidence in how it is that you're approaching your work really is a differentiator. Last example to share is I was just listening to an interview with Willie Jackson, who is somebody near and dear to my heart. And Willie was saying the success that he has had so far, even in the short 26 years that he has been on Earth, of getting access to people like Seth Godin, where he worked for the first part of this year as a chief technology officer for the Domino Project, and all the other opportunities that he had in his life, interviewing for jobs and being offered jobs and getting clients, were really based on being very self-confident, knowing who he is, being secure in that, and having really great people skills and not being worried about meeting people and sharing who he is. He said the way he presented himself and the kind of confidence he had in himself was so much stronger than anything he could have written on a piece of paper or on a resume. And that is so true. That is what people pick up on when they meet you, your passion and your enthusiasm and your groundedness. You don't have to be a jerk, you don't have to pretend to know everything, but you do want to show people that you're claiming your authority, you're owning your growth. If you make your mistakes, you learn from them, you celebrate them, you move on, and you keep going. So any way that you can claim your authority, maybe around the barbecue grill this weekend, if you haven't barbecued before and you burn everything, you can still claim to be a professional barbecuer, because you're going to take it seriously, you're going to learn, and you're going to do better next time. Stand tall, experiment with it. Start next Tuesday, for those of you who take Monday off, with the attitude that I'm a professional and I'm going to do this thing. And I guarantee you, you will get much, much better results than hemming and hawing. Have a great one. Get some time off to rest and relax. Be safe. There are crazy drivers out there sometimes over these kinds of weekends. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.